welcome back to the Lords of Lore. I'm Matt, and this is other Matt. Just kidding. No, Matt is gone forever. I'm kidding as well. No, he's just not available tonight. But this is Luca and I. We're going to be reviewing episode 6.
6, yep.
Yeah, okay, 6.
Titled Flame of Tar-Valon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, earlier I Googled what a Tar-Valon is. I was very confused, but it helps explain quite a bit. Yeah, okay. Well, let's get into the meat of it. Earlier I was having some computer problems, which I was about to smash my laptop. Like, you should be smashing that like button.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. When we were having some technical difficulties, I said something along the lines of, this show is kind of a bit slow.
Yeah, we were talking, like you said, the show's slow, and I agree. There's like a lot of moments that just take their time, but then at the same time, there's moments that feel so rushed. And this was another one of those episodes that felt to me at the end where it was like, okay, it feels like you cut out a big piece of this episode, and now we're like rushing to the end of it.
Yeah, let's talk about that. The ending. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just no explanation. Like, they did nothing to be like, what is it, the ways they called it?
Yeah. I don't know.
And again, like with Loyal, he appeared out of nowhere again, just like when he brought Nynaeve to Matt and Rand in like last episode.
Yeah. I think my thoughts for just this show overall is just, it seems like a lot of fan service to the book readers.
You think? I mean, I've seen that a lot of book readers aren't super happy with it.
Really? Okay.
Like,
I've not looked at any criticism.
That they've like changed a lot of stuff. Like, some character arcs have been changed. I know, like Perrin, for example, was like right from episode 1, like his whole arc was changed.
Yeah.
Like him having a wife and stuff. Like, that was completely added.
Yeah. I don't see. I guess my other criticism of the show overall is that I find it like difficult to be attached to any of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, like, I was happy we got some stuff about Perrin finally, because it just kind of, other than him being upset and grieving, it was kind of like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it seems like it just like hasn't really kicked in that any one specific character is like my favorite. I guess I like Lan because he looks cool.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Like, other than that, like
honestly, the character we like spent the most time with and had character development was like Stepan in that one like last episode, and he died. Yeah, I feel like that was like where they dedicated the most screen time to a single character and their arc. And it was just like a character that died at the end of the episode. Like, we have not had nearly as much time with any other character.
Yeah. And like, I was kind of hoping with such limited episodes, I was kind of hoping that like we would get like an episode per character or something like that. And like, we kind of got that when they were in pairs, but like,
yeah, like when they split them up and we took our time with each individual character, those are like the best episodes for like character development. But then again, like, this one focused the most on like Moraine's story.
Yeah.
And there was some decent development there. But again, like Moraine, and we got the introduction of the Amerlin seat.
Yeah. What was your? Not just a chair.
It is not just a chair. Yeah. What were your thoughts on the Amerlin seat and like the reveal of who she is and how she looked and her role in the show?
I think I'm curious to understand like more about how she got to that power. Like, I guess just like, are they elected? Is it just the most powerful person? Is there like a trial, or is it just like, and also like, I wonder if there's like any one of like the different genres are kind of favored more than one of the other. Because like, to me it seems like the blues are kind of, I guess, more of like the leadership,
sort of like the dominant faction currently.
Yeah, not like physically like the Reds, but kind of just like politically they seem a little bit more up there, I guess. But yeah, like I'm definitely curious to know more. And just to clarify, that was the ambulance seat at the beginning, right?
Yeah, like
Okay.
in her childhood, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like I was a little bit confused by that. Yeah, which was like kind of cool because you get to see like how like it usually goes to like powerful people, I assume, like the most
Hmm.
powerful channeler. And this is just a fan theory of mine, but it kind of seems like Nynaeve would be like it's almost like there's like a parallel between her and not just the chair, the Amerlin seat.
Hmm. True, yeah. She is like the most powerful channeler, they say, in like 1,000 years.
Hmm.
And there was like the moment in the, I don't know if it was last episode or 2 episodes ago, where I think the green Aja, I forgot her name, she mentions to Moraine like, you're one of the only ones powerful enough to challenge the Amerlin seat for her position.
Hmm.
So there clearly is like some kind of way that they like compete with each other to like get the seat.
Yeah, and is it also, I guess, a follow up is like, is it a lifetime appointment or is it?
Yeah, like when does she like, is it like a 4 year like a president?
um, yeah,
But like speaking of like not giving characters enough time to like make me care about them, you introduced the Amerlin seat at the beginning of this episode, and then I'm all of a sudden supposed to care about her relationship with Moraine.
yeah, that was
And
kind of
from one
shoehorned.
scene,
That was
like I did not, that scene had no weight to me, like had no impact really. Like, and then
yeah,
she's gone, and now Moraine's banished. You know, like in one episode, we're supposed to like establish a relationship, care about them, and then be sad about the fact that they're not going to be together anymore. Like I just, you know,
yeah,
it didn't have much emotional impact in my opinion.
yeah. Like the way it kind of seemed like the obvious choice for like for them to like make that decision for Moraine's punishment, like because like the way I saw it was like she was kind of protecting Moraine from the others by just saying, here, now you have an excuse to like run off and do your own thing.
Yeah, I mean, Moraine even said to her like the punishment has to be exile,
Yeah,
because like the leader of the Blues ordered her to stay.
yeah. And yeah, also I guess the other thing is um like I wonder how much power in relation to the seat does like the leaders of each Ajah have
Hmm.
as well, because yeah, I don't know. Definitely interesting. Also, I like how it noted that Moraine is like of like a noble background, but that
Yeah,
kind of doesn't matter. Like I thought there was like a little bit of cool world building, and also with like how oaths are made,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like
That was probably my favorite scene in the episode.
mhm.
That oath scene. That was the scene where I was like, okay, like this is now an interesting sort of moment between them.
Yeah, because we get to kind of see like magic existing outside of being
Hmm.
channeled. Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Also, while we're talking about channeling, I have like when Moraine was pulling all that stuff out of Matt's mouth,
Hmm.
because I read somewhere, and I think it might have been mentioned earlier that like men can't see women's weave. Uh, did it seem like to you that Rand like noticed the darkness?
Yeah, well, he even mentioned it
Hmm.
like after to Moraine directly.
Yeah,
He said when he was thanking her.
and like it kind of like it, I don't know, like there's like no like mention of that, which I thought was kind of weird. Like, yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on all of that? Do you think this whole darkness thing is gone forever?
I
I was,
feel like
yeah,
no, especially since Matt didn't go into the ways with them, like he stayed out of the portal, which I thought was like a weird moment.
yeah,
Um, like he even made the joke, like, "Oh, is it like too late to change my mind?" And then it's like he actually does change his mind. It's like, why would you make that joke if that was supposed to be like a dramatic moment where he actually doesn't go with them?
yeah. It would have been cool if there was like he tried to go through the portal, but it wouldn't let him.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. But speaking of that scene, one of the things that bothers me in like movies and shows happened there where like you see Moraine riding up to that like portal and you can clearly see that it's like a giant empty field and like she doesn't notice the two other groups of horses at all. It's like she like gets there, she's like looking around, she looks directly to her left and like Loyal is there on a horse. Like how I hate when that
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, now that you mention it, it's kind of like whack.
Like just give me a shot of him riding through, like breaking out of the tree line or something. Like, it's not that difficult. That's just like a small thing that always bothers me when they do that. It's like, you can't see it on the camera, so they can't be there.
Yeah, and it's like, I guess it's also kind of like, it's not a very discreet location.
Yeah.
If you're going to be running off, because like we have what's her name, Leandrin mentioned that, like, she's kind of like alluding to they've been watching Moraine, and like now that she gets exiled, it's kind of like, I'm kind of curious, like, was the Reds and stuff, like, and other Ajahs, like, watching Moraine go off and like do this thing with all these characters that are like of interest. So I don't know.
And also there was that scene that I found funny where they're always talking about how, like, it's like all the blues are the ones that are like the spies, and then like Leandrin, she comes up to her, she's like, oh, like you like those kids from Two Rivers are with the blue or with the yellow Aja, and these other ones are here. Like, she just knew everything. It's like, oh, okay, so I guess everybody has a spy network.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Crimson Chin Leandrin.
Yeah,
her jaw is just, it's just
the
like
Crimson Chin.
It just widens with each episode, and like, yeah.
I mean, she's such a striking looking actress, though. Like, you can't not remember her.
Yeah, she's terrifying.
Which, speaking of which, I thought the Amerlin seat was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I found it to be like very underwhelming. Like,
yeah,
underwhelming. Like, I think it would have been cooler if they entered the room and she was already sitting there, instead of like doing this awkward thing where she like comes across the side of the camera and just kind of like shuffles onto the chair.
Yeah, I didn't. It's like I like this episode for a lot of reasons. Like, I loved the shots. There's a lot of really cool special effects and like interesting shots where like the camera would pan up and like you see the all the sisters sitting in the circles with all the colors. Like, those are like really cool looking shots. But then, for example, when we first meet the Amerlin seat, like that scene where she's like interrogating them and interrogating Logan and stuff, I don't know, there's just, I feel like there was like something missing, like some like sense of, I don't know, royalty missing. Like, they built up this character a couple of episodes earlier, and now I just found it a bit underwhelming, especially when they like threw in the relationship between them, and she just, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I felt like there was something lacking there.
Yeah, like, she didn't seem like she was like separated from the other characters, like the other Aes Sedai. Like, she was like, in terms of just like a power structure, because like that's why I was kind of like confused at first. Like, was that her backstory? Like, were it not for the tattoos, I don't think I really would have been able to
like, and what was that whole scene at the beginning? Like, it didn't tie, the only way it tied into the episode was when Moraine repeated like her father's words when she was swearing the oath, and it's like, well, like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know, there's just nothing there. There's nothing to like, it didn't pay anything off. It was just like, okay, he said that, and like, there's not even a scene where they showed earlier where like the Amerlin seat told her that or something. Like, I don't know, just something. It just felt kind of off, almost as if they also cut it out of a larger scene or a larger sequence of events.
Yeah, and I think that, just to that point, it's just it seems like all the important things are rushed. And I mean, there's only 2 episodes left for this season. And
3, right? There are 9 episodes, I think.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, there's 3 more episodes.
Yeah,
7, 8, 9. But but still, like, now they're back out. Like, and again, for example, they first 5 episodes trying to get to the White Tower, and they make it to the White Tower. We spend like 1 episode there, and now they're gone.
Yeah, they just like take off.
Like, I keep getting the feeling that they're trying to rush to like specific moments, and then once they get to those moments, since they haven't like laid the groundwork, they don't really pay off in any real way.
Yeah. In terms of rushing, it's kind of, and like, this is not just a knock on this show alone, but like, I think a lot of other shows does this as well. It's just like how Rand mentioned that, like, oh, Matt's been sick like this for like a month, and it's kind of like, well, he's only been sick for like an episode. Like, it's just like, it would be a lot better. I mean, it's ironic that the Wheel of Time doesn't really have a good explanation of the timeline of what's going on. Now we're ragging on the show hard.
I know, but I wanted to be like, okay, I'm actually enjoying the show. Like, I do enjoy it, but like if we're talking about things that I noticed, like
Yeah.
I can't help but notice the fact that things are rushed. Like the things I enjoy, I really like the set pieces.
Yeah.
I like this. I like the way the city looks.
Mhm.
I like the costume design. I like the special effects. I love the music.
Mhm.
But like it feels like we haven't even gotten to know so many, like Rand. We know nothing about Rand. We haven't even had like moments with him. He was barely in this episode.
Yeah. And like it, I mean, this is episode 6. I feel like we should be like, if they were going to be departing the tower, it should have happened like episode 3. Like that's what it kind of feels like to me. And also like my biggest thing is like I'm just kind of curious as to what's going on with all of the bad guy villains. Like what's the dark one or whatever, like what's been going on with that. And like, because again they mentioned like the great battle of the end or whatever is coming up fast, but it's also like we don't really know like what's going on with all of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like there's only a couple hints. Like literally the only scene that hinted at a wider world of struggle was when Moraine was talking to the leader of the Blues, and she mentioned like, oh, ships are disappearing off the coast of the West, and like Aiel have been seen beyond like a certain mountain spine or something. I don't remember what she said.
Yeah,
like Aiel have been spotted and ships are disappearing, so like I'm going to go investigate the ships disappearing. Like that's it we've heard of. Like,
yeah. And I mean, yeah, I don't know, there's so much that needs to be like so many questions need to be answered, but there's not enough time. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, do you know what scene I really did not like though? Was when Egwene and Nynaeve met the Amerlin seat. I don't know why, but I hated that scene. Like maybe it was the dialogue they threw in. Like I don't know. Like Nynaeve was such an asshole, and it's like her arc is just always that. Like she's always a huge asshole.
And then she has like a moment where it's just like a magical explosion, and it's just like holy shit. But then
yeah, and then we've never gone back to that. Like she saved Lan's life like that, and I don't know. There's just, it doesn't feel like they're building up to these moments enough to make them pay off.
Yeah, I agree. Like there's no all of the actions between the characters, aside from like Aes Sedai and their watchers, is just kind of like rocky. There's not much of a like, to me it just seems like there's not much of a relationship between each of the individual characters. And again, we still don't know enough about all of them.
Yeah,
and this
even
is
the
also,
reunion of of them four was like honestly nothing big. Like there was like a hug between Egwene and Rand, and then Matt and Perrin. They didn't even show Rand and Perrin meeting up again. Like,
yeah, and also like again, it's supposedly been over a month since they've seen each other.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be like the closest friends who grew up together, like who've been like risking their lives trying to meet up again, and now they finally see each other, and it's like, oh, hugs, let's go into the ways.
Yeah, this is also like, this all adds to my theory that I had a few episodes ago about Rand being like the main character dragon, because we still don't see enough about him in his backstory. So it kind of seems like it's all just like waiting to have an episode all about him.
Right.
So
but again, if he is, they should be like, I feel like that groundwork should be being laid like in the first few episodes. Not we get to like episode 8, for example, like the second last episode, it's like, oh, and now we'll have a full episode about him and then a big finale. Like it kind of feels like that's gonna happen, if anything.
Yeah. And I don't know, there's just
so like I'm conflicted about the show, and it's like I like it, I enjoy it, I like watching, but then when I start thinking about like some of the choices they made and some of like how the scenes played out, it just kind of falls flat sometimes.
Yeah, and like it kind of feels like they could have taken a note from like The Witcher in terms of like being able to like wrap up their writing and keep like this timeline. Like, because like I thought like the way that The Witcher was done on Netflix was like cool, because like it has like these 2 separate timelines, but they're all like woven together, and it's like capped off, and like there's not that much of a loose end. But like this one, like, it feels like, yeah, like time is running out, and like we like I don't know, like I hope next episode is not like long and like drawn out, because it just like it seems like the pattern is that we get like an episode that's super long and kind of boring, and then it like rushes very quickly in the next episode.
Yeah, I feel like what they spend time on is not that important, and then like the most important characters just don't get enough screen time. They don't get enough time to develop.
Yeah.
Like again, like now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't even realize this, but like we spent so much time with Stepan, who isn't an important character, like at all. He's not even like the top 10 important characters, and we spent so much time getting to know him and like having him develop as a character just to see him die. And like this episode has spent so much time with the Amerlin seat and Moraine and kind of like forcing an emotional connection to them there, which didn't really work. It fell flat again. Like I felt nothing. Like I don't care about their relationship. You know, like she's already gone. Like she's already out of the show.
Yeah, and yeah, I wonder if my boy Lad felt that connection as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they've never even established like what is the relationship between Lan and Moraine then.
Yeah, and like that's kind of like just more on the stepping point is like I kind of felt like with that previous episode we kind of like got a lot of the info. Like to me it was just like this is just this episode, and like this character is symbolic because it shows like I guess like the bond between the Watcher and Aes Sedai, but like to me I kind of felt like that was like already explained. So
it
like,
was, and we've never even seen those moments between Lan and Moraine.
Yeah, this is
like they have
true.
So few scenes together where they're like just them two talking, or like there's no intimate scenes between. So I don't even know what the relationship is, because in that episode with Stepan, it was implied that they have the same relationship that Stepan had with Karini.
Yeah.
But we've never seen it, and now we've seen Moraine has a romantic relationship with her name is Swain.
Yeah.
Or Siwan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sanchi.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. It's like, well, I mean, like Moraine was like unconscious basically for like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And like Lan, I don't know, it didn't seem like there was like he was like that upset.
Yeah.
Compared to like I guess the way Stepan would have explained. I don't know. It feels like the cast is just too big for the show.
I don't know what it is. Like I've never felt a show that feels slow and yet feels rushed at the same time. Where it's like there's a lot of drawn out slow scenes, but like nothing really happens, and the main characters are just not developed.
Yeah, and like that, like this episode to me was very reminiscent of the third one, where you could just like skip almost the entire episode and just like watch the end. And
yeah, no, literally, because the only major things that happen is like we meet the Amerlin seat. You can pretty much ignore her entirely because like that whole interaction had no bearing on the story except for Moraine being exiled.
Yeah, I mean,
and then Matt being cured.
Yeah, like they could have just had like completely cut her out, like the Amerlin seat. Like they could have just showed up and she could have been like, "You're banished.
Yeah,
get out of here." And like.
And if anything, that would have almost been better because it would have kept the Amerlin seat as like this mysterious character. Now we spent so much time with her, and it's like all of that buildup and mystery sort of gone. And she's just like, okay, she's just another Aes Sedai who has no real interesting characteristics or personality or anything.
Yeah, if anything, you're right. I mean, it seems like almost like like humanizing her. I guess like trying to like show that she is a character and stuff like that almost remove that sense of like this is a very powerful person.
Yeah, if anything, it would have been better if they like waited. Like you can humanize a character that's in that position, but first you need to establish that like lofty position to then lower them and humanize them so we can relate to them. But now it's like, again, that buildup didn't happen. Like the groundwork wasn't laid to make that moment pay off.
Yeah, and the vibe I was getting from all the other Aes Sedai is that they like respect more so like the position, the chair, as opposed to like the actual person who's in it. Yeah, it kind of seemed like. So I don't know. but our showrunner's got to get his shit together because what the
Yeah, I feel like it's a little, they're like still trying to, it felt sort of like they were finding their footing in like episode 3 and 4 when the group split.
yeah,
But then now that they're like back together, it's again kind of rushed. And
yeah,
like
like
I thought that the moment their reunion should be like a big moment because they're the main characters. They haven't seen each other in a month and a half for the first time in their lives. Like they've gone through unbelievable things, and now it's like, okay, hug it out and let's walk into this portal. Like,
yeah. I wish there would have been a little bit more explanation about that, other than
mhm.
just come with me. Um,
Yeah, it was just Loyal saying like, oh, it's just like, or no, Moraine cut him off or Lan cut him off, being like, it's like a quick way to get from one place to the other. Like a couple steps there is like could be like 1,000 steps in the real world.
yeah,
Like,
and
oh,
it's
okay, cool. Could have maybe
also,
like built that up maybe earlier in the episode or something. Like,
yeah, or just like, why didn't you just like use that thing like like previously? Like, I don't know. That's the other thing. Like this like weird fantasy Stargate just like props up, and it's just, I don't know. Is that like a common thing?
well, I mean, even Moraine had one in her room where she like teleported into the Amerlin seats room.
Yeah. So I don't know. This show just, I'll be honest, I really want to like it, but it's just kind of, I don't know. It's all the showrunners are just maybe lack experience or something. I don't know.
It's
Right?
possible. Yeah, like overall, as like if I look at it like from like a bird's eye view type thing, I enjoy the show. Like I enjoy the adventure feeling. Like it gives me that it gives me the same feeling I get when I like read a fantasy book, you know, like especially when they're on the adventure. And I love the city shots. I love the special, like I love how it looks and it gives me the feeling of a fantasy world. But then like when I look into the details of the characters and their relationships and stuff, it just it's not developed. It just doesn't have the
Mhm.
weight that I wish it did.
Yeah.
And
No,
I don't know if that's the performances or if that's like the way it's shot or edited. For like, because from what I can tell, like, the performances have been pretty solid all around, like acting wise.
yeah. It's like, to me, it's very, very shallow and it's very wide
Mm-hmm.
because, like, honestly, like, I just have a really hard time remembering the majority of the characters,
Right.
just simply because we just don't really get enough time with them each.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, to me, I think like Matt just has like the most interesting, I guess, like character, but that's because like he's like the only one that like kind of stands out thus far.
Yeah. We spent like the most time with him of all the four, really, and maybe Nynaeve a bit more because when she was found by Lan.
Yeah.
Um,
But I
so
don't
yeah, I mean, I would love to see some more like just character work, like build their relationships, like make me care about each individual character, and then go from there. Like,
know.
so yeah.
Okay, one quick thing again is what do you think they're gonna do with the dagger?
What did they do with it? Who's
Right?
carrying it right now?
Right? Like, because they were just like, don't, make sure he doesn't touch it again. It's
Yeah,
like, so you're just gonna like leave that in the room with him to like touch
yeah. Like literally, the last thing that happened was like what Lan like wrapped it up, and then we never saw it again. It's like, don't touch it again. Like, okay, well, where'd you put it?
it? Or like, is there still like some of the darkness inside of the dagger?
Well, she put all the darkness back into the dagger.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what that was.
So like, well, why not show us? Why not destroy the dagger? Like throw it away or lock it in a thing. Like, where is it?
Yeah, they just like left it on the floor for like one of the staff at the hotel to come and pick it up at the tavern. Just like, yeah, I don't know. Did like maybe Matt has it in his possession again? Like that, to me, that seems like a very dangerous thing to leave lying around.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
so
that's a great point. I didn't even realize that. Like, literally the last thing we see of the dagger is like the darkness goes back into it, wrap it up, and then she's like, "Don't let him touch it."
yeah,
Okay, well then take it with you, Moraine. Like, goddamn,
yeah,
melt it in the fire thing you have. Like,
that seems like that seems like a land job. Like he should be
yeah,
like, that's something like, I don't know, disposal of like magical objects after Rain's messed with it, is Land should be the one handling that. Um, yeah, because that seems like a very, very, very powerful tool, weapon,
mm-hmm.
maybe even like sentient creature thing inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's a
yeah.
great point. And see stuff like that. Like, why cut what happens to the dagger out of the episode, but
Mhm.
show me like that whole Moraine and Amerlin's seat, like extended scenes with them.
Mm-hmm.
Was just trying to like force me to feel a bond with them, which didn't work.
Yeah, what I think would have been cool is if they had they're just like, "Lol, you're banished," and then if she showed because I thought it was kind of cool, like when they're doing the oath, how she like touched her hand. I thought that was kind of like
yeah,
cool
like
detail.
subtly.
Yeah,
like this was so on the nose, like so in your face, trying to make you care, and it's just like you can't do that in 10 minutes.
yeah, especially with like a character that has been like talked about so much and yeah, I don't know, it's kind of whack.
Yeah, so I think they still need they still haven't found their footing. I feel they still like pacing is strange, like the editing choices also feel weird sometimes.
Yeah,
like this was one of those episodes that was like slow for the first like 90%, then the last 10% were just like, all right, quickly cut through it.
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I mean, overall, I still have to say I'm positive on the show. Like I am enjoying it. I wouldn't call it anywhere near a masterpiece or anything like that, but I'm still overall positive on it. Like this episode was like a 7 out of 10, 6.5 maybe. Like I really enjoyed a lot of the music in it. I really enjoyed a lot of the shots early on.
It just could have been better story-wise.
Exactly. Like that's the thing. And it throws me out of it when I see the potential that could have been. And just like, I wish you'd done more with this. I wish you had spent more time either in this city or with the characters, just like developing these relationships.
Yeah. Matt's not here, so that's why we're griping.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a review.
Just complaining about everything.
Yeah, I guess the one final question I have is just, what are the Trollocs doing?
Yeah. Like literally the last time we saw them was that they couldn't get across that river. And it's like, all right, peace out. Like,
they're just gonna stay to this area of the continents. They can't cross this river. That's it.
And again, like, why not mention some of those things in the White Tower? Like, you're in the center of the Aes Sedai's power. Like the blues are there, like they're the information gatherers. Just like give me a scene where they're talking about it, like, oh, there was a Trolloc attack in X city. Like,
yeah, they just like fucked up this town, or they're like unstoppable tide.
Yeah,
CGI
like that was a huge
Trollocs.
army of Trollocs with like that eyeless. What are they called? Shades.
Fades.
Like the fades. Yeah.
Also the eyeless. Yeah.
So yeah. I feel like there was a lot of missed opportunities in this episode.
I agree. We're running out of time. And time is not just a wheel. At least not when it's an Amazon show. Yeah. I guess anything else to add?
Not really. I'm just hoping that the next episode, now that we're back with the main cast only, I'm hoping we'll actually have some real development of those characters. And dialogue. So they have nothing else to distract them.
Yeah, and like dialogue between all of the group. Like I don't think we've actually had like a full group conversation since like episode 1.
Yeah, I don't remember anything other than when they were like arguing about Rand not trusting Moraine.
Which was like perfectly rational. I'm still sticking with
exactly.
That.
Yeah, it was. And like Egwene's reaction to him felt so weird and like aggressive and like out of nowhere. And dude just like coughed up a bat, like he had some like reason to be worried.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, here's hoping that episode 7 will have some actual character development, some like make me care about these characters, introduce me to Rand for one.
Yeah, and his background. And I want to be cool to have a flashback about his dad.
Like the most interesting thing that happened with Rand was when he met Loyal, and Loyal called him an Aiel human, like a half Aiel, half human. And then he just never questioned it. He's like, no, I'm not. And it's like, all right, let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. And also kind of curious because like, well, we saw the Aiel skeleton in that one town, right? In episode 3. Yeah. It looked pretty human to me. So is it like an elf? Is that...
Yeah, I don't, they're like a humanoid race. And the only thing I know is that they have like red hair because that's what Loyal said. Like, oh, red hair is like a good sign, that one of the telling factors. Like, okay, cool. Thanks, Loyal. There's some
like,
random exposition every once in a while.
does it set them apart? I don't know. To me, it kind of suggests that maybe possibly Rand's dad has a lot more to hide, and maybe they were hiding out in Twin Rivers. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely feels like the implication that there's more to Rand than meets the eye. But how are we supposed to know when we spent like in 6 episodes a full like 30 minutes with him?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I think with that,
Yeah.
Well,
And we actually kind of enjoy the show.
yeah.
Not just shitting on it constantly. I mean, we are. Today we have been, but it deserved it. It did deserve
not here to rein us in. So
yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I guess that is that. See you next week
For another review of the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, I don't really remember what Matt usually says, but we
Me
are.
neither.
This is Matt. No, this is Will. With
And I'm
Luca.
Hell yeah.
And we are the Lords of Lore.
Question mark?
Ron Burgundy style. I am the Lord of Lore.